That's
So,
awesome.
well, I guess we'll go ahead and get started, Kendra. I'm Brett Lindquist. I'm the CEO of the mortgage firm, and we're super happy to have Kendra Cook in our series. Kendra, you did something, or you sent something to me last week, and you asked, "Hey, would you send me something? I'm going to mess this up. What makes you unique?" And I thought it was a really great thing to send to me or to your clients because you get a lot of great feedback. And I mean, they're going to pretty much tell you how great you are. But, for me, from a business side, I really appreciate that you were a monster realtor. So you've been there, done that. You know what it takes to be a great realtor. Then you got with a coaching group and grew in that, became the head of the realtor group in that coaching group, which is probably the top three in the country. And
Mhm.
so you've been all done all this high level stuff, but you still remember what it's like to be getting started and then personally you live with great faith and you're just a really good person. When people speak with you, you're very approachable, and I think people feel like that you're really listening to them, which you do. So I just want to let you know that I appreciate it, and I think that's what I sent back. But the people on the call here, Kendra's, if you haven't been on a call yet, she's been, she was doing 30, 40 transactions a month, and then still coaches a lot of big producers. So Kendra, we're really happy to have you, and I'll turn it over to you.
I'm so excited to be here. And thank you. Yes. So like you guys, I'm always trying to get a little bit better. And so I have a new business coach, and she's like, I want to hone in on some of your unique abilities and your unique gifts. So my homework assignment was to contact 10 people that knew me pretty well, both professionally and personally, and ask them what they thought my unique abilities were. And now we are put all those comments together. It's really interesting, you guys, if you haven't done something like this, to say, gosh, all these people see this, a lot of similarities in me, and I don't promote those, or I don't use those as weapons or tools when I'm selling or, speaking or whatever. So it was very eye-opening, and I'm glad that was a homework assignment that I got. And so if you haven't done something like that, excuse me, I highly encourage you to do that, because people see things in us that we don't see in ourselves. Let's be honest. And so it is a great tool that you can use in your marketing or on your websites, or maybe you're not selling yourself with those accolades or those unique abilities, and you should. So maybe that's an assignment for some of you on here. But thank you, Brett, for your time, for doing that, and your kind words. So um, yes, I do a lot. We're just talking about that. So it's perfect fitting for what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to walk you guys through let me start the slideshow here. Hold on one second. I can't do two things at one time, y'all. Sorry. So how do we get more done? And I am very honest in saying that this has not always been a gift of mine, but it is something that I feel like I'm pretty darn good at now. And when I started teaching time management, or harmony amidst or hustle, or work-life balance, whatever you want to call it, I figured out that if I wanted to get more done and have a great life, then I had to figure out the time piece, because two things we know for sure: that God's not giving us any more than 24 hours a day, and He's not making any more land. So if I know those two things, then and they're a problem for me, I have to fix them, right? So quick backstory for me: when I found coaching, it was literally because of my faith. My husband had given me a couple options, if you will, of figuring out how to get home at night. And so this was long before we had iPhones and all of that. And I had my computer set up in my home, and mind you, I didn't have a laptop at the time, so desktop. And I would work all day, and then I would come home and I would say, hey, I'm just going to run in and fax one more contract, or I'm just going to return one more email. And that would turn into an hour or 2 hours. And by the time I would come out, everybody in my family was in bed. And many nights did I miss dinner for the very same reason. And so he came to me and said, hey, that computer's got to go. You got to take that to the office. So when you're at the office, you're on there. And when you're at home, you're on here. And so I did, went to my broker, said, hey, the computer's got to go out of my house. He gave me an office, and I worked there. And then I still had a lot of guilt and remorse that when I got home, I wasn't servicing my clients. And I was very conscientious about, giving the high level service. And I mean, quite honestly, if you know me, I'm high energy anyway, but I'm twitching at night. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't run to the computer, right? Like, how do I continue? And so I'm not really sure where this idea came from. It's not something I'm proud of, but I worked through it. So I figured out that instead of twitching and being all weird at home, I needed to figure out how to get back to the office. So what I did was I decided I would turn off the chimer on our security system when I came home at night, and I would leave my car parked in the garage, in the driveway versus pulling it into the garage. And when everybody went to bed, I could sneak out of my house and I could go to my office. This is an honest to goodness true story, not one I'm super proud of. But this went on for months. And so I thought in my crazy little brain that I was doing no harm, no foul, right? Everybody's asleep. I'm going home for dinner and nobody's doing without. My clients are being taken care of. My family's good. Really, the only person suffering was me, right? So no big deal. This is a season, and the season continued for quite a while. And I thought, man, I have mastered this time management thing because nobody knows and it's working, right? And so one day I came home and I was coming through and I was going to turn the chimer off and sneak back to the office. Now, mind you, this is leaving my home at like midnight and working till 2 or 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then coming back and sneaking and laying down in bed with my husband until the alarm went off. Okay. So I didn't do it every night, but a lot. Okay. So I come home, park in the driveway. I'm going to come through, turn the chimer off. And just as I'm about to hit the button, my husband, in a very loud voice, says, "Don't turn the alarm off." So I came in the house. I'm like the cat who ate the canary. I'm like, "Oh, hey, honey, where's Corey?" Which is our son. And he said, "He's at your mom. Have a seat." And so we talk about the big D conversation here, lightly, but it was very traumatic. It was, I didn't get married to sleep alone. You don't think I know what's happening. Um, and I know you're working. So it's not the infidelity piece, it's the two things that are left on the table. And one is you're either going to get abducted or something bad's going to happen to you coming out of a big office building at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, or you're going to fall asleep behind the wheel. Nobody can live on 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours of sleep forever. And you're going to run off the road, and I'm going to be left as a single parent. And I'm not willing to do either one of those. So you have 30 days to fix it. I had no idea until probably maybe 4 or 5 years after this took place how he found out. But what happened was we have had a police officer as a neighbor who lived 3 houses down, and I sold him his house. And so my son and my husband were out in the yard playing ball one day, and Jeff, God bless him, stopped beside my husband and rolled down the window and said, "Man, your wife works a lot of hours." And my husband's like, "Really? Do tell." And so he's like, "I go by there every night when I'm working midnights, and I shine the light in her office," because I was on a bottom floor room, all windows. I shine my light in there. She gives me a thumbs up. I check on her. And he says, "But man, she puts in a lot of hours." And so that's how I got busted. So thank you for Jeff Lucas, busting me with my husband. But at that point, within 30 days, I had to figure out how to take care of this dynamic business that was thriving, that I was becoming, quite honestly, addicted to the accolades and the money and the fame and all of the things, and still take care of my household and my family. So, um, prayed about it.
Kendra, I'm really glad you told that story because I've heard you tell it before, and I didn't hear the part about the policeman,
Yeah.
but that's that's incredible.
It's
And
a true story, and people, I'm sure there are other people on this call that say, "Hey, I've done some crazy things," especially when it comes to time. And if you're conscientious about your work, and I know all of you are because you're here, right, on on a Tuesday trying to get better, we have to figure out a solution. So for me, the solution was somebody has to help me because I don't know how to stop the train that's going 100 miles an hour, which was my business, and slow it down or stop it so I can go home and be a mom and a wife too. And the flip side to that, you guys, is when I was doing all of that craziness, I was not taking care of myself. Not only was I not sleeping, I was not eating, I was not working out, I was unhealthy, I was unhappy. And so I share that story to say you might be in that season. You might be like, I got little kids and I got to be at home and I got to work when they're asleep, and you're burning the candle at both ends. So I just hope that something I share with you today, you can plug into your business and say, you know what, that little tweak will give me 30 minutes here or an hour there. And that's really what we're talking about today. We're talking about shaving some wasted time, some distractions, putting some systems in place so you can get more done in less time. We have to find solutions to this fast-paced world we're in, because we all know around the holidays, maybe you tremendously slow down, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have any business. We need to learn to push things into that season, like the creative pieces and learning some better habits in those seasons, because right now we're burning and churning, right? So we just need to take a nugget or two here today and see what we can do to help. So that is my story about how I figured out how to be a great time manager. So I will tell you, when I am on, I am on. And when I am off, I am horizontal. Horizontal at the beach, horizontal in a lounge chair, horizontal in my bed, right? So I will give it all I've got, but be very intentional and remove all distractions. So that's what I would tell you. Be on when you're on, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today, but when you're off, be off. Okay. So how do we balance it all? Let's talk about that. For me, it all started with my why. When I had to make a change, I had to learn what was driving my why. Okay. And for me, I feel like there are three seasons in our lives. The first one is survival. That's kind of where I was when I was sneaking out of bed at night, quite honestly. We were small kid. My husband had recently lost his job. If you've read my book, I'm sorry you're rehearing this, but he had lost his job. So we were kind of in survival mode. We had bought the house and we had the nice cars and we had the kid in the private school, and we didn't want to go backwards. So for me, fear took over. Fear and survival of not wanting to go backwards. That was kind of level one for me, right? But I identified my why through some coaching and some real soul searching, that I was just in survival mode. So I knew that that was a season, and I could do some of these things I'm going to share with you today to fix that until I got to the next step. Now, I will tell you, once I got out of survival and money, I won't say did not become it was not a main factor, but money was easier at that point, my second stage of my career, and I started accumulating stuff. And that was my why. I wanted the nicer car and I wanted the nicer house. And so I started chasing the stuff, right? And the unfortunate part was stuff was not bringing me a lot of joy. And when my son graduated high school and we sold our big, fantastic home and everything in it, everything I'd spent my hard earned money on, went out the door in an indoor yard sale with pennies on the dollars. And I was like, well, that is definitely not my why anymore, right? Did not make me happy, and it's all gone. And I finally have figured out what season I'm in right now, which is luxury. And that does not mean I have more money than I know what to do with. It means that I am fulfilled. I am living in my purpose. I'm in the smallest house my husband and I have probably ever lived in, and we're the happiest, right? Our our responsibilities are less than they ever were. Our purpose is more, I'm more on fire for the purpose that I have of paying it forward to people like you that are here today. So I share those seasons for me because every time I had a different why, I changed something about my time management. Does that make sense? So I think step one for you guys is, where are you? What is your why? Why are you where you are? If you're just survival right now, some of these things you may write down maybe for 6 months or a year or a couple years down the road, because you're just surviving. Some of you may already be in luxury, and you're like, hey, I've lived here. I get what she's saying. But wherever you are, figure it out and then take the tools that I can share with you today to fix it and help you get more in tune with your time. And then when you get through this season, we'll move to the next one. Okay. So 10 keys to work-life balance. I don't know that there is such a thing, because when I'm really good over here, I'm not great over here. Or when I'm really good over here, I'm not so great over here. So work-life balance is something I strive for, but I don't have it all figured out. And I'm just being transparent with you all. But it does for me. Attitude is where it all starts. If I wake up in the morning and I'm in gratitude, it's very hard for me to be disappointed, anxious, all of those things. So for me to create some work-life balance, my attitude starts when my feet hit the floor. Attitude of gratitude really helps with that. Second one is keep a rational schedule. And you're like, what is a rational schedule? That's a great question. Only you can decide that. So You have to figure out what is rational for you. I'm going to work, Monday through Friday, 50 hours. One night I'm willing to work late. My family and spouse partner approve of that. It's your rational schedule, right? But if you tell your family you're going to work 40 hours a week and you work 55, the home front's not going to be super happy, right? If I tell my family I'm going to work 40 and I come in at 38, everybody's really happy. So figure out what that rational schedule is and do your darndest to stick to it about 80% of the time. Okay. Learn to say no. One of my favorite sayings is no is a complete sentence. It's not no, but, no, and, no, because it's just no. And one of the best lessons I got in coaching when I was working through this, issue in my life is create your 3-step job. What are the main 3 steps that you do in your job? Now, there's going to be 10 little bullet points underneath it. I get it. But for me, I generate leads. Number one. So that's through face to faces, that's through webinars, that's whatever, right? The second thing I used to do when I had a team was I had to create a winning culture. So that was impactful team meetings, that was celebrations, that was, employee of the month, that was birthday celebrations. Because if I poured into my team, then my team would pour into my clients and they would have an even better experience, right? And the number 3 thing that I had to do was I had to count the money. I had to watch the P&L to make sure everybody was getting paid. There was room for advancements in salaries, that we were able to make those celebrations. So my 3 jobs was lead gen, work culture, and count the money. Now, I work by myself now. So my 3 jobs are totally different. But I just had to unfortunately tell a client this morning I cannot take them on. My schedule is already getting a little hairy and I don't want to overcommit. So I said, check back with me in January, right? It's no, it can be no, right, not right now, but it's just no. Okay, it's no, I can't make it work. All right. Enjoy list free times. If we were all in a room, I'd make you guys raise your hand if you're a list person. But I have 3 lists going on my desk this morning. Now they'll all be taken care of when I get done tonight. But right now I'm a list person. I need to check things off and I need to make sure that when it's in my brain, it's on paper because it goes pretty fast. So I give myself permission on Sundays to have no list. Find a day that you give yourself permission to just wing it, because work-life balance is all about checking the boxes for me. And I don't want to get to the point that I resent that. So the way for me to do that is to have a day that I don't have to follow a checklist. Okay. Keep it organized. Listen, guys and gals, we can be super messy. Closets messy, cars messy, pantry messy, desk messy. It is a time suck. Disorganization is an absolute time suck. When you need to go find 2 pair of shoes in the bottom of your closet that match, and you're on your hands and knees and you're 10 minutes already late leaving for an appointment because the kids are not cooperating this morning, you're already starting your day, bad attitude, probably, right? You're running late, all because of disorganization. So if you're not a good organized person, get somebody to come help you and organize. Teenager, a college kid, hey, come clean up my desk, shred all this paper, organize my spices, whatever it is. And just know that that will really help with your time management. Disorganization is a really big distraction. The next one is batch it. You'll hear me talking about this in a couple seconds. I like to be creative when I need to be creative, and I like to be tactical when I need to be tactical. And so I don't like distractions. For me, I'm very sales driven. So when I make sales calls, I make them in the morning. I'm on fire on the morning. In the mornings, I'm not as in fire by 4 or 5 o'clock at night. I'm kind of spent. I do this 4 or 5 hours every day. I give all my energy out. By 4 or 5 in the afternoon, I'm right, talked out and tired. So for me, batching it means I do the things that I'm best at in the morning when I'm on fire. And then when I need a slower pace, like creating a marketing piece or something that doesn't take as much energy, I want to do that in the afternoons. And I don't want to be distracted in either one of those time blocks. So for me, batching it means I check my voicemail and my email in the morning, I check my voicemail and my email at lunch, and I check my voicemail and my email in the afternoon. That's it. Like, I don't want to be in my email and distracted, so I batch things together. And I'll show you how that works on a calendar here in just a couple minutes. Feel free to clear your mind, right? Take a 10-minute walk around. We have one block. It's about half a mile. My husband and I walk it probably 2 times a day. I'm like, I'm going for a walk. He's like, I'm going too. So if you are very high strung and high energy and you've got a lot on your mind and you're at work and you can go take a 10-minute walk around the parking lot or go get a coffee or just get up and clear your mind for 8 or 10 minutes, I promise you that will help you be more on fire when you come back to your desk. Number 8 is probably one of the hardest lessons I learned in my life, and I still struggle with it, is perfectionism. I don't like to fail. I don't like to get things wrong, but I do know that failing at something is not final. So it is okay to get things wrong the first time. Okay. What I mean by that is if you're a perfectionist like me, I'll spend 3 hours on a marketing piece that has 10 words on it. I'm like, is that font right? Is that color right? Should I move this? Should I do that? It's like, stop overthinking it. It's a time suck. Right. So get it on paper, get it out. If somebody doesn't like it or barks at you or bites you, then the next time you can change it. All right. Number 9 is keep the lines of communication open. I know this will be nobody on this call because I see lots of men, not picking on y'all, but how many times have you said, honey, I'm gonna do something after work. I'll be home at 5. And then at 5:15, you're still at the gym and your wife's calling you. And at 5:20, she hasn't gotten a hold of you. And now she's fed the kids at 5:30 and you're still not there. And by the time you get home, it ain't pretty because if mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. For me, it's the reverse. I do that crap to my husband all the time. So we go through our schedules on Sunday. Like, this is my schedule for the week. What do you have going on? Because if I get in my car and he's ticked off, guess what my night is? Derailed, right? Because I got to apologize, I got to fix it, I got to put another solution in place. So communication is so good when it comes to work-life balance with your spouse, partner, kids, significant others. Plus, you're teaching your kids how to have better communication if you keep those communication lines open. The last one is be honest with yourself. If you're feeling major burnout, let yourself feel that. Okay. So you can grow from it, make the changes. For me, I suppress until the eruption, if some of you can relate to that. And so I will get to the point that I'm so burned out that I've run myself in the ground and I'm sick, right? I have a cold or I don't feel good or I've got the flu or whatever. So be honest with yourself. If you need a couple hours to go to the park and drink a cup of coffee and journal, go. If you need a retail therapy, I love retail therapy when I feel burnt out. I love to go spend money. But feel free to take some of those things. Brett, you got something to add for us?
Well, no, I was just going to ask you with the be honest with yourself, does it usually take someone giving you grief like your husband before
Yes.
you go, I got a problem?
Or I hit rock bottom, right? I get
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
And listen, the thing that you want to do, that's such a great point, is surround yourself with people that aren't yes people, right? That's why I have a business coach. I don't really need a business coach. Well, yes, I do need a business coach, but I don't have to have one right now at the place in my life, but I want one. I love somebody calling me on my crap, just like the unique abilities. I would have never done that without her, ever, right? I also would not have done a speaking sizzle reel. I don't love seeing myself or hearing myself, but that's what she told me to do. So I did it, right? So I think that, yes, it usually takes me falling flat on my face or somebody rattling my cage for me to change. And so, yes, I think that's exactly what happens. There's a problem and then it gets identified and then we fix it.
Are
So,
you, I haven't seen your deck here, but like I made a list, like I felt like I was not doing some things that I wanted to do. So I made a list of like 20 things one day. One was thin out the closet, to your point. And I put it was on like a things to do list or a goal sheet. I didn't put it in my calendar, but at least I had it written. Like, what's the
mhm.
trick that you use, or do you put in your calendar? What do you do?
It's a great point. So projects like that, you schedule them. And again, like if you are in the middle of busy season right now and you're like, hey, I want to get my closet organized, I would go 2 months out and put it the first day of the month. And then when it comes up, if it's not a good time, just move it out a month. That's the only way I can keep up with projects. I used to keep them on a whiteboard and then I'd put them in a notebook and then they get buried. And so I just keep them on my calendar. And so that if they come up and something's not, it's not a good time, then I just move it to the next month and keep moving it out until there is a season when I'm like, yes, now I can schedule somebody to come build out my closet or I can get in there and organize it. I actually have Rita organizing her closets right now, Brett. So
By the way, my mother was a wardrobe consultant forever. She still helps. She's 88 now, but she still helps women out. She'll go to their house, look at their closet, throw a bunch of clothes out, take them to like discount stores and put new stuff in. So she helps people with their closets all the time still.
I love it. I just did the same thing. If you follow me on social, you just saw that. So I just had a consulting company come in. They trashed my closet out. shoes, clothes, jewelry, and then rebuilt it all back. It was so fun. If you haven't done that, ladies, you got to do it. All right, so let's talk about what's your time worth. I'm going to start moving pretty quick, so feel free to take some notes or put some questions in the chat, and I'll come back to them. But what's your time worth? I think when we talk about owning our time, here's something that I learned a long time ago. If you don't respect your time, no one else will. Let that soak in for a second. So what do I mean by that? I mean that I show up for an appointment and you're not, I just happened for me, I have an issue with a foot going on. I went to the podiatrist and I sat there for 45 minutes in the room. I was 15 minutes early. They put me in a room for 45 minutes. I had another call coming up. And so I just opened the door and walked out. And I said, hey, unfortunately, I have to reschedule because he's 45 minutes late getting to me. And I've got another appointment. She's like, well, he's on his way in right now. And I said, unfortunately, I can't do it. I mean, that's how tight I keep my schedule. So he was not respecting my time. So therefore I had to reschedule. Okay. So what do I mean by what's your time worth? Here's a great exercise really quickly. Take your income from last year. And for realtors, your 1099 is not your income. Okay. Your 1099 is your commissions earned minus your expenses gives you your taxable income. Okay. So let me say that again. Your 1099 from your broker is your commission earned. That's not your income. Commission earned minus expenses gives you your taxable income. That's what's left that you will pay taxes on since we're self-employed. Okay. So I'm looking for that number before taxes, but after expenses. So I want you to take that number and divide it by 12 months. All right. And then divide that number by 140, 160 hours, depending on how many hours a week you work. Now let's identify work hours. This is true work. If you take 2 hours and go get your nails done, or guys, you take 45 minutes to go get a haircut or whatever, that's not really work hours. So let's be honest when we talk about how many hours we actually work with the client on the phone, in the car, working on CMAs, creating marketing pieces, posting on social, not playing on social, but posting on social, those kind of things that are true work hours, probably somewhere between 140 and 160 max for most of us. That will tell you what you're worth an hour. So income, divide by 12 months, divide by 160 hours if you want to go to the full Monty there. And that'll tell you how much you're worth. So the next time that Dirty Dog Dave, hopefully there's no Daves on here. I'm not picking on you if your name is Dave, but Dirty Dog Dave wants to come to your door and gossip or complain or have a bad attitude, you can be like, oh shoot, I'm worth $200 an hour. Do I really have time for this? And that is about respecting your time, right? When I know what I'm worth, I'm not going to allow other people to take advantage of me or disrespect me. And you'll be more on fire and on purpose the hours that you're at work to get more done. So when you get home, you can be on purpose there. I always use the analogy of think about the last time you went on vacation and you were going to catch a plane. And it's the day before you're leaving. And you're like, I got to go to the dry cleans. I got to go get cash. I got to get dog food for the dog sitter. I got to leave a to-do list for the person who's taking care of our kids. I got to get, the Uber ordered to pick us up to take us to the airport. I got to print the boarding passes or download them. I got to check in. And oh, by the way, I got an offer coming in. Somebody wants me to list their house. I got to get this marketing piece done. You can get more done the day before you leave on vacation than you can the other 300 days of the year. Is that not true? It is so crazy. And so I tell my students, work like that every day. Work every day like the plane is going to leave without you. And watch what happens. You will get more done. You will be more intentional with your time. And when we are more intentional about our time, guess what happens? Our income goes up. It just is the perfect scenario. So every morning when you get up, just say, hey, I'm going to live like I'm going on vacation tomorrow. I'm going to own my time. I'm going to respect my time. I make X dollars an hour, and start breeding that into your brain so you can be more on purpose. Okay. So let's talk about some great tips for you. Daily personal routine is mandatory for me. Again, I've got to wake up in gratitude. I am a devotional person. So for me, my morning routine looks like the alarm goes off if I sleep till the alarm, which is very rare, but I pray before I get out of bed. Very grateful to wake up another day, right? I go straight to the kitchen. I take my vitamins, make a coffee, my favorite coffee, frothy cream, and I come to this chair that's right here in this corner. It's got a furry blanket, and I sit down. Right beside it, there is a table, and it has three things on it. It has a lamp, that doesn't count, devotional, journal, Bible, and my business book. So it actually has four things on it. And I have the perfect same routine every day. I go through all four of those, finish my coffee, and then it's time to go move my body. So then I either go to Pilates, I get on my Peloton, I take a walk, and then I come back to get my day started. That time is protected for me. If I am not protecting my space, my mind, my body, how can I be good for anybody else? Right? Now, maybe some of you are like, I wish I had an hour in the morning. I get it. But listen, you can do a loop around the block, put your kids in the stroller, take a dog on a walk. If you can't do it in the morning, do it before you go to bed at night. Set yourself up for success in the morning. Okay? Next, have a start time and a go home time. Now, if you, I'll show y'all, I actually print my calendar every day still, and I'm self-employed. Okay, this is my calendar. It's color coded, it has a start time, it has a go home time. It's printed every night before I leave. If my husband wants to know what's going on with me, he can walk in here and look at my calendar because it's always right here. Okay, so I want to have a start time and a go home time. Again, that's the time I'm going to catch the plane. It's leaving without me. So if I got to get everything done, I got to get in here and then I got to get out. Okay. Printed daily schedule. I just showed you that. Mine is color coded. I'm corny like that. I'm visual. I don't know about you guys, but most of us that are high D personalities are visual learners, which means if I can look at the boxes and I can check a box every time I get a task done, then when I get to the bottom of the day, I'm like, whoo, I got it all done. I can go home. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel any regrets because I checked all the boxes. So for me, my personal time is purple. My coaching time is green. If there's something on there that's administrative, it's in orange. A little game I play with myself. Yes, I'm from Tennessee, but no, I'm not a UT fan. It's my least favorite color in the rainbow. So the things that I don't like to do are orange. I want as little orange as possible on my daily schedule. Okay. So the less I have orange on there, the more I'm in on purpose. So a lot of things that are on my schedule now without having an assistant, I outsource them. The social media gets outsourced, my marketing gets outsourced, answering social media a lot of times get outsourced. So I have very little orange on my schedule. Birthday cards, videos, thank yous, things like that. I don't hate those, but I want very minimum of that on my schedule. Okay. Now, for me, the weekly schedule happens every Sunday. As I told you, my husband and I go through my Sunday schedule, his Sundays, his weekly schedule, make sure that we're united, we're on the same page, we know what's going on. And then I've revisited my weekly schedule and then I just print my daily. Okay. All right, I talked about batching it earlier. This is to be in control versus other people controlling my time. Have some time blocks for check voicemail, check email. Here's the rough part, you guys. Most of us would not answer our phone if we were in the car with a client showing property. But if you did and it weren't an emergency, basically what we're saying to them is you're not as important as the person who's calling me right now. So think about this same way. If I'm on this webinar, I am not checking my cell phone. I am not looking to see if I got a text because what I would be saying to you guys is this hour is not important to me. Does that make sense? So what you've got to do is figure out when you should check your email and your voicemails, when you should check your email and voicemail, and when you should check it. Have some blocks in your schedule so you're not distracted or disrespecting someone else. Remember, we don't like our time disrespected, so the last thing we want to do is disrespect somebody else's. All right, so when we talk about harmony, one of my biggest frustrations in life, if you were with us and we did goal setting earlier this year, was setting goals and not hitting them. And the truth of the matter is I would set them and I would never revisit them. I would poke them in a drawer and maybe 6 or 8 months down the road, I would come across them. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to hit that goal. And oh my gosh, that's never going to happen. And I didn't have something on my schedule that reminded me to revisit that. And so I would wad up my goals, throw them away and start over the next year. There's no purpose in that, right? So one of the things that's on my schedule every month, the first of the month, it says I have a 30-minute block meeting with myself. I pull out my goals and I look at the previous month. Did I hit my monthly goals? Yes or no? And if not, what do I need to tweak in my schedule to make sure that happens? Okay. Quarterly goals. Am I on track for my quarterly goals? Yes or no? If not, it may be something's going on in your life that you're like, oh, I need to tweak that a little bit. I'm not going to be able to make that happen this year. So tweak it. Give yourself the permission to make an adjustment if you need to, so you can have some victories. We don't set goals to beat ourselves up, you guys. It's not keep moving the goalpost, it's have some wins, stretch yourself, get a little uncomfortable, but don't wake up every day being defeated because of a goal. Okay. And then the last one is yearly. It takes me 30 minutes max. It's sometimes I can do it in 15 or 20. I'm like, yep, 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 good to go. Right. But again, this is how we manage our time to stay on track with what we said we really wanted for this year. Easy little things that are blocked in your schedule to hold you accountable. Okay. Accountability partners, mandatory. Like I go to Pilates with a young lady 3 days a week here in my neighborhood. We hold each other accountable. So I picked her up this morning because I passed her house on the way. And she's like, I ain't feeling it today. I'm glad you were picking me up or I wouldn't have gone. That's an accountability partner, right? I'm sure with Brett, he has some guys that he probably swims with and they hold each other accountable. If you have a business coach, you know what that looks like.
You have
You know,
to.
yeah, we have to have accountability partners. I have a financial accountability partner. I have a business coach. I have a spiritual accountability partner. That's the lady who leads my Bible study. Like, I need coaches in my life. I can run amok, right? I'm flawed. Let's be honest. Okay.
The water's cold till about late April, so it's not fun jumping into
It's like, come on, put your toe in. I love that.
it.
All right, disorganization. We talked about this earlier. Your office, your car, your closet. It's a time suck and it's a distraction. So if you need to do a reset on some of these areas of your life, as I said to Brett, block it in your calendar. If you can't do it right now, space it out a little bit. But I promise you, when you're not looking for things or living in disorganization or chaos, you'll be more productive and you'll be more efficient with your time. All right. As I wind down, one of the most important things is ourself. I learned so much about some of these hard lessons that I shared with you guys. I cannot pour from an empty cup. And so if I'm doing 4 hours of this today, if I was not up and doing my morning routine and living in gratitude and taking care of myself, by about hour two, I don't know that I'd have this kind of energy. But I promise you, if you sneak into my 4 o'clock call, it'll have the same energy as this one, right? So personal time is mandatory. This weekend, we took the weekend off. I didn't check email. We went to a music festival in Ocala. We danced in the rain. If you follow me on social media, my husband and I celebrated 29 years of marriage on Sunday, and it was pouring down rain, and we just started dancing. And I mean, that's personal time for me, right? That is the connection that I need to be aligned at home and aligned at work and aligned in my life. And so make sure that personal time is on your schedule. Okay. For me, I love to golf. I love my girlfriends. I travel with them. We pour into each other, but I love my time alone, right? I'm a very good lone ranger sometimes. Sometimes it's like, I just need to be by myself. So figure out what you need in your personal space for yourself and then get that blocked in your calendar. Family. Listen, guys, family is everything. They are there when the rest of the world is falling apart. And I can't tell you how many times my life has fallen apart and I've had to come home, right? For the support and the prayers and all of that. So, if you don't have a time scheduled with your spouse and your children, make that a priority. Let them see you being unplugged and intentional with them. Our friends here in the neighborhood think we're crazy, but Thursday was always our date night when we had our son at home because he went to church on Thursday night for his church group. And so my husband always says, oh, I can't do such and such on Thursday because we have a date night. And they laugh at us and they're like, don't you have date night every night? It's just the two of you all. And he says, yes, but that's the intentional date night. Like, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, we're going to be dressed up and we're going to go do something fun, or we're going to be in mud boots and we're going to go for a walk in the rain, or we're going to walk and eat sushi or whatever. That is just intentional for us. We're not on our phones. We're engaged in each other, talk about our vacations, talk about our wins, talk about our struggles with our kids, right? So date nights are mandatory. And if you have little kids and you're like, that's not possible for me, when your kids go to bed, go sit on the back porch and have a glass of tea or a cocktail or a wine or whatever is your choice. It doesn't have to be elaborate, it has to be alignment. Doesn't have to be elaborate. It has to be alignment. Okay. This is my family, my son who graduated and was a baby here, and now he's not a baby anymore. And then the last thing I will tell you is community service. When we serve others, it fills our hearts, right? So whether you're passionate about kids or elderly or the hungry or the homeless or dogs or whatever, for me, community service is mandatory. I feel like I'm given so much that I have to give something back. And so I volunteer at Life Path Hospice every week. And people are like, oh my God, that sounds like a terrible place. It's not. It's a beautiful place to volunteer. And it just warms my heart. And I've met some amazing humans there. And so I encourage you, it has to be on my calendar or it will not happen. So I have a very standard shift that I work there every week. It's on my schedule unless I'm traveling. And I'm just fulfilled, right? It is time for us, if we're going to make a lot of money and we're going to live on purpose and we're going to be on fire, we got to make sure that we're giving back. And that should also be in your schedule. And that kind of goes back to living in luxury for me. Okay. And as you guys know, I'm always going to challenge you to implement. It's not enough that you took notes today. It's not enough that you're like, that's a great idea. If you don't do something with it, it never will happen. So maybe the person that invited you here today, you're like, hey, here's the 3 things that I want to work on. Will you hold me accountable, or can we meet and just work through this with me? Or will you take a look at my schedule? Because I don't know if I have it time blocked. I promise you, as a partner of yours, they want to help you, and they may be reaching out to you saying the same thing. Hey, here are the 3 things that I'm working on. Hold me accountable, right? But give yourself permission to work on 3 things. And maybe you have 2 in work and there's nothing in the personal category right now. But if you don't put something pen to paper and get it in your calendar, it will not happen. It could be something as easy as I'm going to print my schedule every day, right? And print your schedule. I mean, that's easy thing to put into your schedule to make happen sooner than later. All
Kendra,
right.
what is there something in particular that sparks you to implement something? Because I'll find I'll go for 2 or 3 weeks and not do something that I should be doing, and all of a sudden I'll wake up, I'm gonna get this done today. Is there something like what you're doing now, put it in the calendar, or is
That's
there
what
something?
it has to be on my calendar or it won't happen. So
Okay.
even my morning routine is in my calendar. Now I've done the same thing for, I don't know, 10 years probably. But it also says when, first thing, what if I'm starting, some mornings I start at 9, some mornings I start at 10, but it says check your voicemail, check your email, print your schedule. That's the first thing on my work schedule every day. So it's like, once those 3 things are done, check the box,
And
right?
what is it about printing your schedule as opposed to looking at the screen?
For me, it's sense of accomplishment. I'm a visual person. I learn visually, right? So if it's on my screen, it's real easy when my computer dings and tells me I have an appointment to get on my power hour. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that later, right? But when I have to check a box every day, and when I walk out of here and all the boxes are checked, I'm like, wow, I got a lot done. My husband says, you say that every day. I'm like, I know. I say that every day. I do, because I work on purpose. I have a schedule. And every day I walk out here, I'm like, I feel like I got a lot done today. Got a lot accomplished today. He's like, you say that every day, right? But that's just our routine. So I would just tell you, if it's not on my schedule, it probably is never going to happen. I'm not a real winger person. Like, I'll just wing it. That doesn't work for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And you guys, I'm going to give this to you. I'm going to send this to your group to get it out to you. But this really is something that keeps me grounded too. And I have mine that hangs on my closet door right here in my office. And when I'm having a really bad day, I can look over there and say, you know what? I've got 100 things I'm grateful for. And I just need to be on purpose today. And I need to pull myself out of this rut and blah, 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 whatever I'm doing, my self talk to myself. But this is a great reminder. And I will tell you, you're like, oh, 100 things, that's easy. By the time you get to about 65, you're like, whoo, I'm thankful for the grass. I'm thankful for the roof. I mean, it's harder than you think. But if you will spend a little bit of time with yourself and write down the things you're grateful for, I promise you, it's hard to be mad, disappointed, anxious, depressed, all of those things that come from a little bit of a negative mindset when you're grateful. So I would just challenge you to do that. So I'm going to make sure that you guys get that worksheet, so you can work on the things that you're grateful for. So hopefully, did everybody get something good today? Everybody picked something
Kendra,
up?
I didn't want to stop your great conversation, but when I mentioned I wrote down about 20 things I wanted to accomplish. One was I saw a advertisement of these, those vacuum bags you can use for whatever, clothes or
Yep.
so I put down to order some. So I got some and I have these clothes that I've been wanting to wear when I lose a certain amount of weight. And I was like, I hadn't put this on in 8 months. So I put everything in his bag. I got like 4 bags and vacuum. I got to tell you, you can slide it under the bed. So anybody wanting to fix their closet up, order the vacuum bags. They're awesome.
That's awesome. So good. I want to make sure, do we get all, so Donna's question was, were those 10 people you knew well or not so well? Was that to me, Donna?
In the very beginning when you were saying, what was it unique that stands out for you?
Oh, okay. Yes, yes, yes.
That,
Okay, thank you.
so was it like clients? Was it friends? Was it family? Like, who is
I
that?
did
I
not
love
ask
that
any
exercise.
family. I
Yeah,
figured
that
they
could be
might be too
dangerous.
raw and real. But yes, I did ask a couple personal friends. I asked a couple coaches that had worked with me on, discipline level. I asked some people that I do business with, which Brett was one of them. So it was kind of a mixture because I didn't want to have them all in one bucket. So, but it was interesting to hear a lot of the same things from all of them. So, can you put the formula in the chat? Christine, will you do that for me if I read it? Will you text it in there? Okay, so you're going to take your taxable income. So 1099 minus expenses is what we're talking about. And then we'll divide it by 12 months.
Hold on. Expenses divided by 12 months.
And then divided by the number of hours, approximately 160. And that will tell you what your hourly rate is. Where do you keep your calendar organized? I use Outlook because I can color code it. It's on my phone and on my computer desktop. So I use that. Kendra lives in Tampa, Lizzie. And let's see, which app do you use? We talked about that. Okay, great reminder. I end each day by writing down 3 things I'm grateful for. I love that. That is so great. That's like the miracle morning. That's wonderful. Barry's got his Brett shirt on. Thank you, Christina, for doing that. Okay. I think we got through all the questions. Does anybody have any other questions they want to ask about? Yes, Steve, what you got?
I tell you one thing I love on the 10 keys of work-life balance that I've done and has helped me. I help people in my office learn to say no.
Mm-hmm.
I think agents are afraid to say no to that client. And when you know it's a waste of your time, they don't want to have an approval letter to get it done before with your lender to go look at a house. Say, I'm sorry, I can't show you any homes.
Mm-hmm.
Our time is valuable,
Yes.
and I think that word no, but that 10 keys of work life balance, I think there's something we all have something in common. You should add on it. Maybe number 11.
Okay.
Make time for family.
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
guys, we all work really hard, and that one day a week, take your daughter, your son, your wife or husband, and just shut your phone down and spend. Look at this, Brett. You know I'm right.
Oh yeah.
Just shut the phone. And you know what? In the morning, I've been making it a habit 3 days a week. There's a park in Lake Mary, and it's a 26 miles, but I don't do 26 miles. It's a walk path. And I tell you something, I take my phone, I leave it in my car, and I walk 3 to 5 miles because I don't want nothing to hear. Text, emails, Steve, this, where are you? Hey, I need you. No, it's my time. And I tell you something, that's so important that you brought that up to make time for yourself. Because when you're all, I've seen agents in my office with a tear in their eye or a tear. I'm a grown man, tear, And I walk up to him and I says, come on, let's go for a coffee. Put your cell phone in your briefcase, leave it in your office, shut it off for about an hour. Let's go have a cup of coffee. And you won't believe the gratitude coming back and says, I really needed it. And I
Mhm.
think it's something that when I spend time with my son, play golf. Brett, I know you love golf. When I play golf and I'm his caddy, that phone is in that car
Right.
because that 3 hours I'm playing golf with my son, I really don't care if I'm closing a house in 2 days from now. It's my time with my son.
Yeah. Well, and
And
I
I,
think you guys, a lot of that happens, and I'll just be transparent for me, Steve, when you talk about, um, not wanting to shut the phone off and all of those things. The reason that usually happens, you guys, is because we're not doing the things to the standard things that will get us paid. And so we're very sporadic, right? So we don't have a time block power hour every day for lead generation. So right now we're focused on what's in front of us and we're not thinking about the future. And then when these deals are done, we get in fear mode and we're driven by fear. Where, oh my gosh, where's my next paycheck going to come from? And then you're back to working 80 hours a week. Whereas if we could just create a time block consistent schedule where you prospect every day and you take care of yourself every day and you have times that you answer your phone and your email every day and you start creating really healthy habits, we get out of the rut of working 80 hours a week and then being dead and then working 80 hours a week. Because what happens is when we're climbing the hill, it's all a little bit of a struggle. We get on the top and we spend like we're going to be on the top forever, but what goes up goes back down. And so, when we're up here, we're not doing anything and we stay up here, and whether that's luxury or pride or whatever. And then when we come down that slippery slope, you got to work your tail off to go back up the next hill. So just creating consistency in your schedule, having time blocked for everything all the time and sticking to it will eliminate a lot of that fear and distraction. So thank you for bringing that up.
Hey, Kendra, I did have one question about goals.
Yeah.
Like, I think sometimes when you're around, or you're comparing yourself, you might set your goal higher than what, it might be unreachable, so how do you go about setting a goal so that you're not failing every month or whatever, where you set it too high and then oh God, I mean, so will you kind of lower the goal to make it a lot more, where you can make it?
Yeah,
What's
so
your
I
thought
think
on that?
that's a two-part question. So first and foremost, be careful when you set your goals at the end of the year or the first of the year for that year. A lot of times we'll say, "Oh, I want to double my income," but we don't have the team or we don't have the things in place to double your income. So I think somewhere between 3 and 20% growth. 3% is very manageable. 20% is a little aggressive if you're not making major changes, like you haven't taken on a new builder or something like that. So be reasonable. 3 to 10% is a good percentage of growth year over year, right? The wheels aren't coming off. The client experience is not going down the tubes. Your family doesn't hate you because you're working all the time. So I think that would be step one. Be really reasonable about the goals that you set. And then what I tell people that I work with, if you miss the goal 3 months in a row, then it's time to make an adjustment. If, God forbid, you have a parent who gets sick or you have a child that's going through something really traumatic, of course you're not going to be fired up like you were when you set that goal. So it is okay to adjust the sails. I think I might have shared this analogy. I don't know if it was on this call, but we were in a sailboat, and a lot of you here probably are familiar with sailboats. I don't swim very good, so that's not something I do, is get on a sailboat. But we were in St. Lucia, and we got in a boat, and he's got the sails pointed to the island that we're going to, and we are going like this. And I keep telling my husband, "Oh my God, we're gonna miss the mark. He's got to turn he's got all of a sudden he fixes the sails and we go, right? So sometimes you're going to have to adjust the sails if something happens on your ship and you're going away from the target. We don't know what's happening. And if something traumatic is happening, it is okay in 3 months if you've missed the mark to adjust the sail to get back on target. So
Love that.
that's how I coach people on goals.
Love that. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. No goals, better habits. Okay, Steve, that sounds great. No is complete sense. Yep. Okay. Well, I hope you guys got something good today that you can put in your business. It is always so fun to teach this because it is one of my favorite topics. And like I said, I don't have it mastered, but I can get a lot done in a little bit of time. And I'm very diligent and disciplined about my calendar. So remember, 7 times for a habit. So 7 to 12 times is really creating a good habit for you. So stick to something 7 to 12, somewhere between 7 and 12, and then it just becomes second nature for us. So I'm excited to be back with you guys next month. I'll cut a video. Christine, you and I probably need to decide what our folks need in the next day or so, but we will see you guys back next month. I hope you have a great month of May, you guys. See you next month.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Guys, thank
Amazing.
you.
Thank you.